My whole life I was taught family above all. Well, at least until it meant saving my own neck from my brother's debts and creditors. Tom decided he could disappear at my expense, while his creative endeavors snowballed. He was sure I'd keep quiet, as usual. But this time, I made him wish he'd never been born. Let's start from the beginning. So picture this. My name is Mark. I'm 26. And I have an older brother, Tom, the 30-year-old golden boy. Sounds cliché, right? Oh, absolutely. Every family has a favorite, and for ours, that's Tom. He could trash the whole house, and our parents wouldn't bat an eye. In school, he was the local king, and although we're blood, sometimes it feels like he's from a different universe, a place where everything he says is gospel, and the rest of us are just background characters. You'd think he was just an ordinary brother, and maybe over time we'd even get along, but there's a catch. Late, rainy evening. My mood matches the weather. Pretty grim, and I'm already thinking of turning in early. Then, my phone rings. Unknown number. You know that feeling? When someone calls at the worst time? First thought, it's probably some ad or the classic "you won an iPhone" scam. I answer and that voice. You know the type, the kind that chills you immediately. A man's voice, rough, with a menacing tone like he's talking to a debtor, and he's definitely not the joking type. He introduces himself as Dave. He cuts straight to the point, saying my brother Tom owes, and not just a bit, but a decent sum. And I'm just thinking, what the hell? But Dave keeps going. He says Tom has disappeared and, well, left your number. My number. And now this is going from bad to worse. So Dave is speaking with a kind of calm authority, like he runs the show. He adds that if I'm not planning to resolve this, they know where to find me. Guess who's now on the hook? I can just picture King Tom quietly slipping away and giving them my number, as if I don't have anything better to do than handle his mess. When the call ends, I just stare at my phone like it's a horror movie prop, thinking, what is this circus? Tom, the master illusionist, a magician who could convince anyone that winter snow is his doing. Our parents? They've always seen him as a genius, the hero on the brink of hitting life's jackpot. Tom is so talented. Tom is so driven. Yeah, driven, all right. Only, his goal has always been to find people to clean up after his mistakes. Memories from childhood flash by. There's Tom sneaking up to me with that sweet, innocent look, eyes wide as he says, "Hey, Mark, do me a favor. Say it was you who broke the vase. Mom's always less mad at you. You're the younger one." And presto, I'm standing in front of our parents, getting a lecture on how I've undermined family values over a single vase, while Tom's standing behind me, smirking like he's enjoying the show. So here I am at 26, and this charade is anything but funny. I'm done being his personal excuse. He's lounging on his throne of delusions while everyone else, including me, bears the weight. And now I'm stuck here, cleaning up after the mess he dragged me into without even a second thought. You get it, this golden boy doesn't even bother playing fair. He knows that any time he can find someone like me to cover his mess. Enough. I won't be his backup plan anymore. The next day, I made up my mind. Enough was enough. I asked around, found out where this golden boy Tom usually hangs out, and sure enough, there he was. At the bar, surrounded by his latest entourage. A group of guys with cash that he's probably borrowed, and a girl gazing at him like he's a movie star. Nothing unusual, except when I walk in, I see her looking at him all starry-eyed, practically swooning over his charm. You should have seen him. Everything about him said, "Yeah, baby, I'm that Tom. The golden boy and future world dominator." Just the sight of it made my blood boil. I walk up, place a firm hand on his shoulder, and smile. A smile that probably sends chills down his spine. "Hey, Tom, can I have a minute? I've got a few words. Just for you." He gives me this cocky look, trying to read what's going on, but he stands up with that little smirk. Why wouldn't he? And follows me out. I steer him away from his crew and the girl of his dreams for the week. His face shows a bit of tension, but he's holding it together. After all, he's the great Tom, right? "Are you aware," I say, looking him dead in the eyes, "that your name is now associated in my phone with people calling and demanding money for your debts. He laughs, like it's all some kind of joke. Ma, come on, you really think this is serious? And that's when I snap. I throw down some screenshots from Dave. You know, that friendly guy who keeps calling me up for cash. Tom raises his eyebrows, as if he doesn't get it, and then, with that idiotic look of his, just shrugs. Listen, brother, I knew you couldn't just stand by. You've always got my back. And his calm smirk is the final straw. That's when I realize, it's time to end this. You want me to take care of it, right? Fine. But not the way you're imagining. I pull out my phone, take a bold shot of his smug face with that who, me, look. He flinches, tries to cover his face. Oh, don't worry, Tom. This photo stays with me. For memories, let's say. And if you ever make me pay for your schemes again, this photo will go somewhere everyone will see how you handle your debts. His face goes pale, while inside me there's a steady resolve. I'm done being his backup plan. In that moment, I know he gets it. He won't get away with this anymore. I can't sleep that night. The plan comes together the second I realize this can't go on. Tom always thought he was cool and invincible, but this time he's really messed with the wrong person. Now I just need the evidence. And if there's one person who keeps all the records, it's Tom. He's meticulously paranoid, convinced his genius schemes are on some spy-level secrecy. Well, let's see what's hidden in his archives. The next morning, I head to our parents' house. They're gone for the weekend, so I have plenty of time. The lock clicks open with ease, and I go straight to his old room. You know how every house has that room you avoid? For us, that's his room. Preserved exactly as it was 10 years ago, with faded posters and awesome ideas for success he once scribbled down. Charming. I look around, picturing Tom's rage if he saw me here. I start sorting through papers. At first it's all junk. Old sports trophies he never won, random sticky notes, even his old notebooks. But then I find them. Files, neatly stashed in the furthest corner of the closet. It's a whole stack of documents, notes, invoices. I see his signatures on blank contracts. He's practically left a trail for the cops, if it comes to that. And there it is, the prize. A contract under a fake name, signed by Tom. The figures aren't small either. And right there next to it, invoices for projects that never existed. His innocent golden boy image crumbles before my eyes like a house of cards. One thought runs through my mind. You're a genius, Tom. Too sure of yourself, but a genius. Now, let's see that genius turn on you. I keep digging and find another intriguing detail. A list of friends he borrowed from. Each amount, meticulously noted like a bookkeeping ledger. There's something chilling about it. He's basically created his own empire of debt and deceit. One by one, I scan them. The adrenaline is pumping. Am I scared? Maybe a little. But the feeling of power, of justice that I've waited so long for, keeps me going. One thought echoes in my mind. Tom, if you thought I'd stay on the sidelines, you were dead wrong. This time, you'll pay for that perfect image. Late evening. I'm at home, barely managing to relax after the circus that is Tom's life. I think, all right, maybe I can finally take a breath tonight. And then, a knock at the door. You know, that heavy, insistent knock that tenses every muscle in your body, though outwardly you try to stay calm. I open it, and there stands, of course, Dave. He's there in a leather jacket, face like a movie villain, practically declaring, "This is about to go down." The air in the room thickens instantly. That's presence for you. If I weren't so on edge, I'd almost respect his professionalism. So, you're Mark, right? His voice is like a storm. And I know, this isn't a friendly meeting where we're going to discuss the weather or favorite football teams. He looks at me, his gaze sharp, and says, "Listen, kid, we're not playing around here. I'm done with your brother. Tom's been bending my ear with his brilliant plan, but nothing's changed. Game time's over. Now it's your turn, Mark. Whether you like it or not, you're in the spotlight." Oh, how charming. And this is the point when it sinks in. I'm left to deal with leather-jacketed guys who look ready to get serious, while my brothers run off scot-free. Listen, Dave, I start, trying to keep my tone steady even though my stomach's in knots. I'm as fed up with this as you are. Honestly, if I could cut Tom out of my life as easily as his debts, I would have done it ages ago. So let's be real. He's caused me as much trouble as he has you. Dave smirks, not just any smile, but that predator's squint. The look of someone who suddenly sees that their prey might actually be useful. All right, kid, I like your attitude. So here's the deal. We'll be in touch. If you're willing to help us teach your brother a lesson, we can wrap this up quickly and without unnecessary questions. You've got a little time to think about who you want to play this game with, Tom or us. And with that, he turns and leaves, as abruptly as he appeared. I'm left standing in the silence. That's it. The situation has officially escalated. I'm no longer a spectator in this show, and if I don't make a decision on what to do next, this story's ending won't be anything pleasant for me. The next day, I decide it's time for a family intervention. Seriously, who better than our parents to finally hear the truth? I gather the photos and screenshots of Tom's debt records and head over, convinced that they'll finally understand who their favorite son really is. I've got a whole plan in my head. I'll sit down, explain that Tom is in serious trouble, and wait for them to say, "Mark, you were right. Thank you for opening our eyes." But of course, reality decided to throw me a curveball. I sit down across from my parents, look them straight in the eye, and start to lay it all out. Slowly, calmly, I tell them everything. How Tom left my number with creditors, how he's up to his neck in debt. I show them the photos of all his schemes, debt records, invoices, phony deals. I think they'll look at it and understand, but their faces stay completely neutral. It's as if I'm talking about some random stranger instead of their son. Then my mom, yes, my own mother, takes a deep breath and says, "Mark, how can you be so cruel to your brother? Do you even realize what he's going through right now?" "Excuse me? What he's going through? Like his talent for creating fake debt and conning everyone in sight?" My dad jumps in immediately. "You have no idea how much it hurts the family, the way you attack Tom. He's your brother. You're supposed to stand by him, not try to tear the family apart." Tear the family apart? Are they serious? And that's when this heavy knot of anger, resentment, and honestly genuine hatred starts to form inside me. All I've been trying to do is tell them the truth, and they're twisting it to make it seem like I'm the villain here. My mind drifts back to all those childhood moments when Tom set me up. How he was always the golden boy, even when he smashed everything in sight. And me? I was the one they always scolded, the one who had to fix his mistakes. I sit there and realize, no matter what I do, Tom will always be the perfect son to them, and I'll be the one ruining their happy little picture. And then it hits me, a cold thought that stabs deep. I'm nothing to them, just the one who's supposed to shut up and step in to help whenever their favorite needs it. I gather my papers in silence, stand up, and head toward the door. They're shouting something after me, about the importance of family, how I should support my brother, but it doesn't matter to me anymore. This is real now. If Tom's decided I'm his permanent excuse, it's time to play this game for real. I open my laptop and pull up the contact info for that creditor Tom's been friends with. Well, he tried to be friends. In reality, he just fed him empty promises. I have a feeling this guy is probably fuming after being strung along with my brother's fantasies, but maybe he hasn't realized he's dealing with nothing but a con. I dial his number, and as the phone rings, I think, this is going to be one hell of a conversation. Finally, he picks up. His voice is clearly irritated, fully expecting to hear some lame excuses. He's in for a surprise. "All right, listen up. My name's Mark. I'm Tom's younger brother. But before you start threatening me, I've got an offer you'll like. I've got a full set of evidence on Tom's financial fraud, including his IOUs, fake invoices, and plenty more. We can settle this so you finally get your justice, and I stop getting threats from your people. How's that sound?" At first, there's dead silence on the other end, then a short chuckle. "So, kid, you're willing to rat out your own brother?" I hold back a laugh myself. Of course, he wouldn't know that Tom wrote me off long ago. Let's just say family isn't always roses. So, are we in agreement? I'll give you everything, but in return, I ask one thing. Forget he has a younger brother. This is now strictly between you and Tom. The creditor agrees. How could he not? After all, he's practically been handed a ready-made plan to reach his desired outcome. I only have one thing left to do. Send over the scans of Tom's signatures and his web of scams. His address? Right here, my dear creditors, is the full map to your golden boy. I send the final files, feeling a strange mix of relief and adrenaline. On one hand, the thrill of knowing this could end for good. On the other, the realization that my brother now has nowhere left to run. A week after my little exposé, and every family bond, if there was any left, is in tatters. Family dinner on Sunday? No thanks. This time it played out more like a scene from a bad thriller. Tom gathered the whole family, including the grandparents and every other judge, to dramatically announce the guilty party. And of course, in this little theater, the villain is me. I stand among them as Tom speaks, as if addressing an audience of thousands. Mark ruined my life. Here he is, the man who thought it was okay to betray his own brother. Yeah, sure. I'm the reason you ended up in debt and got mixed up with guys in leather jackets. Mom looks at me with cold hatred, as if I'm not her son, but enemy number one. How could you, Mark? How could you do this to your brother? Oh, as if she's ever cared about me. I can't help but smile inwardly. If they want me to be the villain, so be it. My father, in his best dramatic fashion, shakes his head as though I'm some great mistake of nature. I don't even try to defend myself. What's the point? They wouldn't believe a word I said. To them, Tom will always be their golden boy, even if he ran off with their last dime and the family heirlooms. And then it hits me. It's like a weight finally lifted from my chest. I'm no longer Tom's shadow, the silent one who just had to endure everything. For the first time in years, I feel free. I've broken out of this family prison, where I was always the one who didn't deserve attention. I feel light. That's what it's like to finally let go of it all. The next morning, I get a message. From who? From Dave. You're free, brother, but Tom isn't. I smile.